Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Okay, in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, I wish to announce that the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend a meeting of bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. Notices announcing the date, time, and place for this meeting were sent to all concerned individuals, associations, and sent to the Union County local source in accordance with Chapter 231 PL 1975. At this time, I will take the roll. President Bonner.
Here.
Mr. Colon.
Here.
Mr. Cho.
Here.
Mrs. Cohn.
Here.
Mrs. Justice.
Here.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
And Mrs. Primack.
Here.
Okay, Mr. President, is your meeting.
Oh, excellent. Welcome, everybody. It's always good to see so many people. We've got some fun stuff to do before we get started. So let's go ahead and start with the recognition of the newly tenured staff.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. It's a very exciting night. It's always a great time when we can recognize and celebrate our staff. And as President Bonner mentioned, tonight we're going to recognize our newly tenured staff as well as our teachers for 25 years of service. What a commitment and dedication to this community and this school district. So congratulations, guys. I'd like to, can you guys hear me out there? Okay. I'd like to start by welcoming a very distinguished guest, Professor George from Fairleigh is here tonight. Professor George is a staple in the community, the educational community of Summit for many, many years. I'm sure many of you are aware of him and know him well. But for a proper introduction, I'm going to turn it over to board member Vanessa Primack. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was done with this podium. So in Summit, Emil George really needs no introduction. Professor George has devoted over 40 years to Summit students and family as a teacher and administrator, and he still fosters excellence in education every day, now at the college level, teaching and guiding future educators on the best ways to make a lasting impact and be a champion for students. Professor George understood what it meant to educate and support the whole child long before it became a focus of studies and scholarly discussion, and he always brings out the best in his students, peers, and friends. Professor George embodies what it means to be a Summit educator, so I'm honored to welcome him for some remarks as we celebrate many important milestones for some of the very best professionals in education.
Vanessa only gave me 3 minutes and 9 seconds. I brought an umbrella. She can hook me when I'm over. Just quickly, to the quiz. What do you see? What do you see? Raise your hand. Go ahead. Tell me. What do you see? Quick. Donut. What do you see? Donut. Let me tell you what you really should be thinking about what you see. This should remind you of the kids you have in your class. All different sizes, all different colors, all different learning abilities. Please don't ever forget that. They're not the same, as we are not the same. So that's my teaching point 101. Did you get to look at them? I'll let you take your turn.
That's appropriate.
That's good.
Not now.
Good job.
Wait.
Meeting is adjourned.
What do you say? Vanessa, thank you for your introduction. Know this, Vanessa wasn't even born when I started teaching here in Summit. I taught in Summit for 43 years. I was a teacher, coach, and administrator. High school for 25 years, middle school for 15. The middle school was my best. My wife said I was successful as a middle school teacher and principal because I have a middle school brain. She says, you're just like those kids. And that's so important for you to understand your kids. My comments are, there's two things I want to make sure to bring out. When you go home tonight, don't text anybody. Think about these two questions. These are my questions that every anticipatory set people do. Are teachers born or are teachers made? Good question. Second question. Is teaching an art or a science? Stacy promised me that they would discuss it in a faculty meeting. Is teaching an art or a science? Only you can answer that, because you need to know where you are as a teacher. To the new hired teachers, some of your parents and friends said, boy, are you lucky to be in summer. No. These people are lucky to have you in summer. Let me tell you why. You went through a rigorous process. And guess what your title is now? The best of the best. Brag about that. When you brush your teeth in the morning, say, hey, I'm the best of the best. And you are. Because Robert here wouldn't have endorsed it. Huh? They're the best of the best. So I know what you went through. To the newly tenured people, they gave you tenure tonight, but guess what? You earned it. Congratulations. Thank you so much. To the 25-year milestone people, congratulations. The only words I have for you, the first 25 years is the hardest. The second 25, piece of cake. So good luck. How am I doing with time?
Getting close there.
Okay. As I said, I managed to serve on the Board of Education as well. So I went full circle after retirement. Let me find my page here. Sorry, I'm not used to reading notes. You know, you are in the business of something much more important than teaching. I'm not diminishing the importance of William Shakespeare or Abe Lincoln. You have the higher calling. You are in the business of making a difference in kids' lives. What an extreme responsibility. You're going to make a difference. And you better cherish that you're able to do that. You have been charged with their care, believe me. Teaching requires passion and joy. We know passion is contagious. Energy is contagious. Ambition is contagious. All of you have that, apparently. By the way, don't be afraid to tell your students that you don't know the answer. Because what that does, your students will appreciate your humility. Think about that. The most wonderful thing about being a teacher is to think many years down the line, there'll be somewhere, some student, who's thinking about how fortunate they were to be taught by a teacher as wonderful and caring as you. Here's a hard one to digest. They may not remember what you taught them, but I guarantee they'll remember how you cared for them and how you treated them. And that should be a priority. The teachers who are truly passionate about teaching can make a difference. To get students to be passionate about learning. Now, my hero is Superman. As you all know, Superman is very powerful, but he's not as powerful as you people. Superman has the power to fly, but teachers have something so much greater. Think about it. You have the power to make someone else's dreams fly. I hope my messages were clear. Thank you for your time. Vanessa, how'd I do? I didn't go over, did I?
Well, I will not be as dynamic, I can assure you. I am Donna Miller. Welcome, everyone. So nice to have everyone here. You ready? Hi. I am so honored to recognize people who have completed the requirements for tenure in their position with the Summit Public Schools, but I am more honored to celebrate those who have demonstrated expertise, commitment, professionalism, and something that is most important to all of us on the board and to our administrators and to all those who you have worked with. You are with our most cherished things, our children. I'm so honored to recognize you for being committed and dedicated to them. When I call your name, please come up, get your certificate, and do it slowly. This is your time. Don't be shy, work it. Chelsea Barretto, Summit High School. Kristen Casasito, Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School. Benjamin Carapeza, Lawton C. Johnson, Summit Middle School. Caitlin Crimmins, Jefferson Elementary School. Sherilyn DiCarlo, Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School. Diana Doolittle, Washington Elementary School. Glad to see our Washington school contingent is here. You need the Erica Dorsey, Braden Elementary School. Welcome to Brayton also. Lauren Ettinger, Lawton C. Johnson, Summit Middle School. Hannah Gallagher, Lawton C. Johnson, Summit Middle School. Alexander Gentle, Summit High School. Elizabeth Guella, Lawton C. Johnson, Summit Middle School. Samantha Hadley, Summit Middle School. Remember to get all your shakes. Shake them all. Don't miss anybody.
Yeah, anybody that doesn't shake their hand, we're taking back the finger.
Jennifer Ellis, Summit High School. Brianna Kane, Summit High School. Lindsay Morse, also from Summit High School. John Piepoli, Lawton C. Johnson, Summit Middle School.
We should have jazz playing while you walk.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Christine Reinhold, Summit High School. Lynn Rhodes, Mark Johnson, Summit Middle School. Brian Stager, also from Summit Middle School. Catherine Yerger, Summit High School. Rebecca Zarabi, Summit High School. Congratulations to all of you. Keep up the good work. Remember what got you here.
Okay. Now we will celebrate 25 years of teaching. And we'll get started right. There's a lot to say here, and today was my first day of school, so if I slur my words, you understand why. Here we go. Ann Anderson, Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School. From Principal Matt Carlin, where are you at 6:45 a.m. each morning? Chances are you may be on the road or rail, heading off to your workplace, or enjoying that second cup of coffee. If you want to find Ann at this time of day, look no further than the halls of Lincoln Hubbard School. Ann's dedication to her role as an educator is evident each day as the sun rises and sets on Lincoln Hubbard. She immerses herself in preparing for the day's instruction, setting the stage for her students, and in so many ways, simply connecting with the Lincoln Hubbard staff with a smile and a good morning well before the 8 a.m. start of the day. Ann Anderson is a homegrown product of Summit. Ann began her career as a substitute teacher in the district and transitioned to a teaching position where she has taught 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. God bless you. Ann's dedication as an educator has been highly evident in her investment into her daily instruction, participation as an instructor and after-school activities, workshops, and so much more. Want to see the mark of a dedicated teacher? Look no further than Ann's example of her ongoing investment to learn and grow in her practice. As has been the case as she took on the challenges of the current pandemic and engaged her students through new applications and technology. Ann Anderson has continued to create a joyous climate for her students through nurturing and an empathetic approach to teaching. We are all very thankful to have her at Lincoln Hubbard School. Undoubtedly, her family is proud of her, and I know her father is looking down on her with a great deal of pride today, as Ann is honored for 25 years of service to the Summit Public School System. I almost shed a tear on that one. I'm going to blame it on allergies. Patty Lagwa, Business Office. Where's Patty? Patty's not here tonight. We're going to read it anyway.
Patty's not with us tonight, but we're all thinking about Patty.
Okay, somebody out there cares about Patty, and we're going to read it. From the Assistant Business Administrator, Kathy Sarno. This world is extremely lucky to have such a wonderful person like Patty. She not only represents an exemplary employee for the district, but she is also an amazing wife, mother, daughter, and friend. She is the light of our business office. She calms confrontation, welcomes newcomers, and brings joy to the work environment. She is a loyal, hardworking, and reliable as they come. Throughout the district, she is known for her understanding heart and kind nature. She is also known for her commitment to protocols and adherence to the rules, which makes her perfect for the accounts payable job and working for Lou Pepe. It's no wonder why she has been here for 25 years. She continuously says how much she loves her job, and it certainly shows. Our district is a better place because of Patty, and anyone close to Patty is a better person because of her. To know her is to love her, and if you've known her, you can consider yourself blessed. Congratulations, Patty. Laura Madden, Washington Elementary School. Of course, Laura is an elementary school teacher. She has some sort of bird hanging around her neck, probably left over from today. This from Dr. Lauren Banker. We are thrilled to congratulate Laura Madden on beginning her 25th year of teaching at Washington School. But what you may not know is that Laura has spent more than 25 years at Washington. That's because Laura was actually a student at Washington School as well. As a teacher, Laura is a thoughtful planner, a hard worker, and a problem solver. She develops special relationships with her students and their families, and she stays in touch for years after they graduate. Laura is famous for her grant writing, and her classroom is always filled with the newest innovations and lots of books. We are so lucky to have Laura as part of Washington School family. Congratulations. A lot of happy parents out there. I'm guessing Laura taught a lot of our kids. Amy Mallory. Franklin Elementary School. This from Principal Tierney. Amy Mallory joined the Summit Public Schools not by chance, but by history. Not her history, but that of her father, a Summit graduate who was an outstanding contributor to Hilltopper tradition on the football field and went on to play professionally. When the family settled back in New Jersey, they did not live in Summit, but there was tradition and connection which led Amy back when she began her teaching career. Amy has taught first, second, and third grades at Franklin Elementary School. Alana Albanese adds, Amy has not only been dedicated to her students and the families here at Franklin for 25 years, but she has also been dedicated to her colleagues, most of whom she has taken in as dear friends. She has been a loyal colleague and friend to our Franklin family, a trustworthy friend who will never forget a friend's or that friend's child's birthday. Even with her busy family life, she tirelessly looks after her colleagues. She is a gem of a friend who is thoughtful, present, and loyal to her Franklin family without tiring. Congratulations, Amy. All right. Danielle McKinley, Lawrence C. This is a lot of fun. We should probably adjourn after this part, huh? From Principal Donna Gallo. Danielle is a caring and thoughtful teacher. She has come full circle in her career at Summit Public Schools. She started her career as a middle school English teacher. After a few years, she moved up to the high school and taught English and journalism, as well as serving as the advisor to the school newspaper. For the last 10 years, she has worked diligently teaching reading at the middle school and is now back in her original role as a middle school English teacher. Danielle's colleague and friend, Deirdre Kennedy, adds, Danielle is the consummate professional, prepared, organized, and respected. A teacher with an incredible sense of humor and the patience of a saint. I understand. Not content to do the same thing year after year, Danielle revises her lesson plans to meet the unique needs of her students. She is a planner, a problem solver, and a mentor. Danielle is the kind of teacher who attends various events at school, whether or not they are part of her chaperone duties. When working with colleagues, Danielle might say, you want to say it or you want me to say it? All right. What about doing it this way? What would you think if we took a different approach? Her colleagues value Danielle's opinion and often follow her lead. She started teaching at LCJ SMS, transferred to the high school, and is back where she belongs in the middle school. Danielle's time in Summit has not been without challenges, including the loss of a student teacher, making it through a school day on September 11th, changes in the administration, changes in the curriculum, changes in teaching assignments, and most recently, hybrid learning. She has met each and every challenge by doing her very best, no matter what. Congratulations. All right. Last but certainly not least, Tom O'Dowd, Summit High School. This from Principal Stacy Grimaldi. Tom started at Summit High School as a science teacher and then moved into the role of science supervisor during the 2003-2004 school year and has held the role ever since. Under his leadership, the science department at the high school has grown and expanded the course offerings. He has led the expansion to include more elective courses and a restructuring of the required science sequence courses. Tom is an excellent educator who is able to break down the most complex science concepts in physics or chemistry into understandable and manageable components for students. I wish you'd have been my teacher. Outside the classroom, Tom enjoys hiking and running. Tom enjoys traveling with his family, and this summer, taking a long trip out west to visit numerous national parks. Congratulations, Tom.
Congratulations to everyone, and thank you to the board members who took the time and thought to present tonight. And I actually want to do a special thank you to Kathleen Murphy, my assistant, and to Laureen Callender, the coordinator of communications, for all of their work and effort that went into this presentation. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of thought. It's a lot of preparation. So thank you very much. It was excellent. We're now going to move to presentation of the 21-22 board goals. And so as we have a packed agenda this evening, we are going to take a break after the board goal presentation and after we recognize some of our new hires. So certainly all of the new tenured teachers, we're going to need a photograph of you in the hallway with Ms. Callender. So she's walking out there right now, so feel free, please, to join her so that we can get a photo of you. Thank you. Okay, well, welcome to the presentation of our district goals for 21-22. I want to thank the board members and the administration for all of their hard work and thought that goes into the planning and preparation of our goals to align what we're trying to accomplish this year on behalf of our students as it articulates to our vision for the community. Throughout the school year, we will certainly be updating the Education Committee on the progress of the goals, as well as provide the committee with a mid-year review as well as an end-of-year assessment about the attainment of these goals. So these goals have been worked on for many months. They've been vetted by the board already, so we present them to the public this evening, starting with the first goal. The first goal here is really a continuation of an ongoing multi-year goal, and this is year 2 of that goal, and it reads, the Summit Public Schools will continue to foster a culturally inclusive educational environment that values diversity and equity within its climate, operations, curricula, and programs. This is a very special goal for us. We know that this is something that is much needed in our community. We have very passionate people who are taking on this work. As I said, this is year 2 of this goal, and we're excited about what we can accomplish this year. The outcome of this goal will be to continue to provide staff and students with anti-bias training, inclusivity training. In addition, the district will complete an equity audit to determine areas that may require revisions or may not within the educational system, as well as engage the community in multiple events and celebrations. Again, we're really excited about year 2 in this goal and what we have in front of us to accomplish. Goal number 2 for the board this year. Again, a continuation of a multi-year goal. This was like uber important last year when we were dealing with the climate that we're in, and we're still continuing in a COVID environment. So it's very important that we address the SEL needs of our students. The Summit Public Schools will continue to enhance its student experiences through social and emotional learning programming within all areas of New Jersey's social and emotional learning competencies, with an emphasis on relationship skills and social awareness. The outcome for this goal is periodically we will survey the students and get some anecdotal feedback from staff about their SEL programs and evaluate our students' sense of belonging in the community and in their schools. We've accomplished quite a bit already in this past year, but we're continuing with much of it, namely morning meetings at the elementary level, restorative practices, the high school and middle school advisory curriculum, and as a matter of fact, this summer, the morning circles and Thrive curricula were revised specifically to address the relationship skills and social awareness. I'm now going to turn it over to Jen McCann, Director of Education.
Good evening, everyone. Our third goal for this upcoming school year is the Summit Public Schools will improve its ability to utilize data to inform instructional programming and implement strategies that will target areas of growth for all students. We have always looked at our data, but within this upcoming school year, we will continue to work with committees of teachers and administrators that will help develop data protocols that will support the implementation of a new data software system that will help us identify more specific learning needs and provide more targeted instruction to improve academic achievement. The committees will at the same time explore alternative platforms to help us determine if some additional systems may be needed to enhance our instruction and our curricula. Okay. And our fourth goal for this school year is we will develop a plan to expand learning experiences for all students in the areas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics to cultivate interest, encourage innovative thought processes, and prepare for future opportunities in a dynamic global landscape. This past spring, we did develop a district team of almost 25 staff members across the district in different grade levels and different courses, and this committee will continue to complete a needs assessment of our current curriculum, equipment, budget processes, resources, and complete a facilities audit in order to create a 3-year implementation plan. We will, throughout the course of the school year, update and have bits and pieces that we will be implementing throughout the next 3 years in order to accomplish this and enhance and create a dynamic STEAM program for the Summit Public Schools. Are there any questions from the board members? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Now we're going to do new stuff.
You're gonna move it up. Okay. New staff first.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to move agenda item 11, personnel, including items on the addendum, for a vote from the board. But before the board takes any action, I'd like to speak to a few of those items, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as you know, we have begun the practice of inviting our new hires to our board meetings on the day they become approved by the board, to value them and recognize them. And as Professor said this evening, it's been a rigorous process for you to get here, so you are the best of the best, and we're happy to recognize you here tonight. So when I say your name, please stand up, and I'll say a little something about you, and then we'll go from one to the next. We're starting with Donna Anderley. Donna here? There's Donna. Donna will be teaching 4th grade at Washington Elementary School. Her bachelor's in psychology and master of arts in teaching are both from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Donna was a long-term grade 4 teacher substitute all of last year for Washington Elementary School. Welcome, Donna. Jeffrey Biggis. Jeffrey Biggis was approved last meeting, but we weren't able to recognize him. He was last on the agenda, the last minute addition. He'll be a physical education teacher at Lawton C. Johnson Summit Middle School and Summit High School. He comes to Summit with 15 years of teaching experience from Morristown, and Jeff has been an assistant varsity boys lacrosse coach in Summit for the past 4 years. Odell Boger. I don't believe Odell can make it tonight. He's going to be a math teacher at Summit High School. Odell has a bachelor's in math and business from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and a master's degree in business administration finance from Strayer University. He's moving to New Jersey from North Carolina with 6 years of teaching experience. Kristen Dooner. Kristen will be a social studies teacher at Summit High School. I'm sorry, I moved too quickly. She will be a special education teacher at Washington Elementary School. Kristen has a bachelor's degree in elementary and special education from Boston College and a master's in special education from Hunter College. Kristen comes to Summit with 10 years of teaching experience. Frank Harpster. Frank was here earlier. He'll be a social studies teacher at Summit High School. Frank holds a bachelor's in history education and master's in Holocaust and genocidal studies from Kane University. He joined Summit with teaching experience most recently from Plainfield. Rachel Lipinski. Hi, Rachel. Rachel is a vocal general music teacher at Brayton and Franklin Elementary Schools. Rachel holds a Bachelor of Music with vocal general music education concentration from Middle Tennessee State University. Rachel comes to Summit with 6 years teaching experience. Erica Assimi. Hi, Erica. Erica is hired as a school psychologist for the district and has a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in clinical child and adolescent psychology, both from Montclair State University. Erica was a school psychologist intern here in Summit during the 18-19 school year and comes back to Summit with experience from Roselle Public Schools. Charles Muller. Charles is going to be a special education teacher at Summit High School. He has his bachelor's degree in economics from Cornell University and a master's in special education with an elementary education certificate from Seton Hall. He's been a freshman and JV boys lacrosse coach here in Summit. Jessica Pietra Catella. Got it, close. Jessica will be teaching social studies at Summit High School. Jessica holds a Bachelor of Arts in History, minor in Geography, and a Master of Arts in Teaching, both from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Jessica did her student teaching at Summit High School this past year. Kim Russert. Hi, Kim. Kim will be a part-time ESL teacher at Lincoln Hubbard Elementary School. Kim has a bachelor's in elementary education from State University College at Cortland and a master's in education from Florida Atlantic University. Kim comes to Summit with 20 years of teaching experience, most recently from Roselle Park Public Schools. Theodora Scott, she's in the back, will be a special education teacher at Jefferson Primary Center. Theodora has a bachelor's in early childhood elementary education and a master's in special education from Arcadia University. She has 9 years of teaching experience, most recently in New Providence Public Schools. Ashley Seifert. Ashley will be a physical education teacher at Lawton C. Johnson Summit Middle School. Ashley has a bachelor's in health and physical education from Rowan University. She was a physical education leave replacement teacher at Summit High School this past school year, and she's also going to be a freshman girls volleyball coach this fall. Jason Orby. Didn't see Jason tonight. Jason will be teaching technology education at Summit High School. Jason has a bachelor's degree in technology and engineering education from the College of New Jersey. Jason came to us with experience in CAD, modeling and stage set design, sound, and lighting. And Lauren Whitmore. Lauren will be a social worker from the district. Lauren has her bachelor's in psychology from the College of New Jersey and a master's in social work from Rutgers University. Lauren has 24 years of experience in the field, most recently from Children's Specialized Hospital. And you can certainly see a trend of people coming to us with many years of experience. And again, the rigorous process has allowed us to pull them into the Summit Schools community, and they are truly the best of the best, so we're looking forward to all of their contributions. And before we move on, President Bonner, I have one more notable item on the agenda under personnel that I just want to highlight. Item G is the resignation of Mr. Lou Pepe, Business Administrator, Board Secretary, and Assistant Superintendent. Lou is celebrating a long and successful career in education. He's been in Summit since 2008. Lou's contributions and leadership in the district is unsurpassed. He will truly be missed. We wish you the best of luck, Lou. There will be many, many more celebrations and accolades for you as we celebrate your career and your time here in Summit in the few months to come.
Thank you, Superintendent Huff. And since I have one addition on the addendum to item G, since I decided to retire, my longtime assistant, Angelo Palumbo, is also tonight on the agenda, effective January 1st for his resignation for the purposes of retirement. And if anybody knows about Angelo Palumbo, all you need to know is knowledge, dedication, caring, and outstanding partner. Angelo has been critical to ensuring that our buildings have systems that work and providing learning environments that are safe, clean, and conducive to learning. So it's going to be a big loss for the district, but he'll be with me hanging out.
Hey, Lou, I didn't think you could make item G any worse, but you did.
All right, so we will not allow Lou to take a baseball move and say he's going to retire mid-season and then celebrate him at every ballpark from here until December. So we are going to appropriately recognize both him and Angelo in the near future, and so we look forward to that. So for number 11, items A through II with much sadness and happiness for item G. Can I get a motion? And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, on the roll. Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes, with the exception of item G1, I'll go no on that one.
Okay.
I told him.
She has that right.
I still have enough to go. President Bonner?
Because I don't want to get embattled in a long litigation the rest of my board tenure, I'm going to reluctantly say yes.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. President, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We're going to take a quick military 3-minute break, so that means 2.5 minutes, and then to let all the folks who want to leave head on out, and then we're going to get started with the rest of the meeting. We are rolling. So it's now is the time when I speak on some interesting things. So in keeping with our theme of fun and celebrating amazing accomplishments, I have committed to myself and Laureen that I would only talk about good stuff in my comments. And by good stuff, I mean really cool stuff that kids do in our district that you may not see every day or have the backstory on. And so we have a couple items tonight that I'd like to highlight. So here we go. There's a lot of bad news out there, and so we're going to focus on some really cool things. Our girls and boys cross country athletes during the recent tropical storm went to a few homes in Summit after the flooding to help families clean up and move furniture. Coach Betances asked fellow coach Neil Sharma if there was a way for the student athletes to get involved in the community and help in some way after Ida. Neil had a connection with the Summit PD, who connected them with a few families in Summit who were in need. The students went to the homes, helped the families clean up, all in their own time. We don't have any photos of the action because they were focused on philanthropy, and according to Laureen, she's very upset with that. The actions by our student athletes bring to the forefront two of our pillars, which are athletics and the community, and community service. But wait, there's more good news. The IDEAS program, which you may be familiar with, led by Brittany Schwartz, had about 85 fourth graders last year who participated in cycle 3 of IDEAS. And they worked on a project where they were split into 20 groups, and each group submitted a project to Mayor Radist for review. In fact, they were videos. The project stemmed across the entire third marking period until spring break, and then the first week in June. They worked on them virtually in IDEAS for 45 minutes a week, with additional time completing research on their own time at home. Students used WeVideo to create their proposals and submit to the mayor. They were submitted the first week of June, and as it turns out, the new temporary dog park at the transfer station, which has been extended through October, I think as of today, is a direct result of one of the ideas that the students submitted to Mayor Radist. Mayor Radist, in turn, shared the idea with the city council, who also love our kids, and seriously considered the proposal from our students. In a time with so much political division and virtual battle lines drawn, it is healing to understand and know that all politics, all the best politics are done at the local level. And all the best things that happen in communities are done at the local level. And in this case, sometimes by students as young as fourth grade. And that's what truly makes communities like Summit great. Thank you to our student athletes who looked out for their neighbors, and congratulations to Ms. Schwartz and her fourth graders on the realization of the dog park in Summit. Superintendent?
Thank you.
It's all yours.
Thank you, President Bonner. I'm going to begin my opening comments with communicating what a tremendous start of the school year we had this year to open up the 21-22 school year. It was really great to see the students entering the schools happy, ready to learn, excited to socialize with their peers. A full day of school in person for in-person instruction as well as lunch. So we're very excited, and so far things are going very, very well. I want to extend a special and sincere thanks to the PTOs and all of the parents for all the efforts that they put in to welcome our kids with music, snacks, decorations. I know our teachers appreciated it, and our students really felt a sense of belonging to come into school and start the school year that way. I also want to thank the administration and the board. There's a lot of hard work that goes into the opening of every school year and then continues to be applied as we operate throughout the school year. Sincere thanks to our custodial and maintenance staff, top notch. They get our facilities really, really ready, and they're spotless. We have the best crews by bar none. And of course, our secretarial staff, who behind the scenes work tirelessly for the opening and really continue to work hard all year long for a smooth operation of our school district. Finally, it's great to see our teaching staff back in the buildings. I want to thank them for their ongoing continued effort to provide our kids with the best educational experience that we possibly can. They're very, very excited this year. They're a professional group, they're flexible, and we certainly do have the best of the best, so thank you for all you do for the students of Summit Public Schools. A brief announcement about Back to School Night. After much consideration and thought, we decided to conduct Back to School Night virtually again this year. We had tremendous positive feedback from our virtual Back to School Night videos that the teachers created last year, so we're very confident that we're going to be able to get parents all the information that they need in a very convenient format. And this decision is going to allow us to keep with our goal to maintain our goal of keeping students in school in person all day without taking the chance right now, as we're in a high exposure rate of possibly exposing a staff member to a health issue and or disrupting instruction if there's a quarantine needed. So we have a very good product that we can work from that we did last year that I know that parents will appreciate. As you're maybe aware, the governor's executive order requires all unvaccinated staff members to be tested weekly. So we've been working closely with Doreen Babison, Overlook Hospital, and Atlantic Health to coordinate those efforts to have our unvaccinated staff tested weekly. I really want to thank Atlantic Health again. They've been an ongoing partner with us, and they support us to help keep our community safe, so they've been tremendous. We've been collecting data about the vaccination status of all of our staff, as we're required to do, and roughly we have about 90% of our staff vaccinated. We hope to finish collecting that data by the end of the day tomorrow, but we will post that information on our COVID dashboard on the website. Just a few words from me about last week's flood. As you know, we canceled school due to the widespread flooding in New Jersey. My thoughts go out to any of our families who are significantly affected by the storm. Please reach out to your building principal if you're in need of any assistance. We'll do whatever we can to help. As far as our district facilities, we were relatively unharmed, except for Brayton Elementary School. We did have a few classrooms that took on some water. They're under repair now. So I want to thank, again, our custodial and maintenance crew. They work nonstop day and night to mitigate the damage, and there's no telling how much more damage we could have realized without their efforts. So it was tremendous. So it will be several weeks, so I want to thank the families for being flexible, for relocating those classrooms. And again, rest assured, our teachers are going to work very hard to make it a great learning experience in their temporary classrooms till they move back in to their regular classrooms. And by all accounts, our emergency notification system, School Messenger, was effective at notifying everyone of the school closure. But I encourage everyone to log into Genesis and update your personal contact information. We're going to be running another test of the system next Wednesday, September 15th, because we want to get accurate data about how many families, the percentage of contacts are getting notified. And finally, I want to thank Coach Costabos and his staff, as well as all of the high school football players for welcoming me last week as the honorary Coach of the Week. It was a tremendous experience. I was with the team for the entire week of preparation for their opening game. I truly enjoyed spending time with our student athletes, and by the way, our outstanding coaches. They really are fantastic. The best experience, to finish off the experience, was with a win over Elizabeth High School last week. So thanks again, Coach. Best of luck to you and your team, as well as all of our fall sports teams. And that concludes my report. President Bonner.
Thank you, sir. No, you cannot be a stipended coach on the football team, regardless of how many wins they get this year. So we're moving on to approve the superintendent's report, which also includes the approval of an affirmation of the superintendent's decision on harassment, intimidating, and bullying, case number 155. Can I have a motion?
Move.
Okay, on the motion, I have Mr. Cologne moving it, Ms. Miller seconding it. Vice President Cologne?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
And President Bonner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, committee reports. Got a lot of stuff to report out tonight, as we read this week, and the committees were fast and furious trying to get it all in before tonight because of the holidays. this past week, so a lot to get to, so we will get right to it. Education Committee, Ms. Miller.
I am ready, yes. Good evening again, everyone. The committee met just yesterday morning at 9 a.m. We got a lot done in 80 minutes. With me were Superintendent Huff, Director of Curriculum Jen McCann, committee members Jan Cho and Lolita Justice, and we had two guests, Laura Kaplan, Director of School Counseling, K-12, and Doreen Babis, Director of Special Services. Our first discussion item we can dispense with quickly. We did one final review of our district goals, and Jen and the superintendent presented on those. We asked all of our final questions, et cetera, and the committee certainly recommends them for adoption. We then, the bulk of our time was spent doing the K-12 new and revised curriculum adoptions. So the committee members fully read and recommend all the adoptions, the varied updates and revisions to the curriculum. It was hundreds of pages, which represents hundreds of hours of work. The committee certainly, again, publicly wants to thank all curriculum writers. It's you know, when you read a piece of curriculum that's, 60 pages long, it's a tremendous amount of work. And so we thank all of those people who worked over the summer to get them done. Our oversight process was to ensure two things. First, that the state of New Jersey learning standards and requirements are being met by our curriculum, and that the district's long-standing commitment to excellence in instruction is adhered to. And we can assert and assure everyone that they are. We want to highlight a few material content changes so that the board knows about them. We had World History, grade 9, U.S. History 1, which is a 10th grade course, U.S. History 2, U.S. History 2 Honors, U.S. History AP, which are 11th grade courses, and a new course, Race in the American Experience, which is a new one-semester elective for grades 10 through 12 that was requested by our students. Again, all the social studies revisions were found in keeping with New Jersey state learning standards. They were all deemed instructional. They were all ready to be taught from a place of neutrality, which is another thing that we looked for. Social studies revisions were further found to be in keeping with the Summit School District's positive vision of our education and our commitment to provide opportunities and excellent outcomes for every student. That's that piece. We then moved on to summer academy data. In July, you may remember, Jen McCann updated the committee on the K-8 Summer Academy, which supported 515 students over the course of 4 weeks in the summer. And at that time, we had reported out on pre-test data. That was very promising, actually. This month, Ms. McCann shared post-academy data from a review of actual student learning plans. And from that review, we can see that it was 4 weeks well spent. Students rapidly regained ground if they had lost it, or accelerated if they needed to. We consider the Academy a success, and we hope to be able to have it next year. There are grants that'll still be out, and we hope to be able to do the same thing. Mid-year data, however, is going to be gathered sometime, mid-year. We're not exactly sure when yet. And that will be taken using our new iReady system, and it will be compared with the baseline data that was taken this past July. Having the pre-work, the pre-analysis done in July, and then waiting a little bit more time will give us a better gauge as to the actual impact of the Academy. Right now we have immediate impact, which looks good, but we want to be able to see that it's been sustained. Speaking of iReady, it was noted, I think Mr. Colon will also do a little noting of iReady, and it was, I think, noted when Jen spoke about our goals. iReady has been used to great effect. It is, we have been testing alternative data collection resources platforms and methods, and iReady seems really ready for us. It looks terrific, and it's been a great help. It provides many capabilities, and the one important capability I want the board to know about is that it not only clearly identifies needs, but it offers multiple on-point interventions immediately to fill those needs. So, we're looking forward to being able to close any identified gaps as well as accelerate students should they need it. Laura Kaplan was there to to give us the SEL update. We reviewed, as part of the curriculum that we will approve tonight, the K-5 Thrive program, LCJ SMS's advisory program, as well as the Summit High School advisory program, and many other SEL-related improvements and updates that have been made. All of that curriculum, including, by the way, the curriculum in general, is always on our website. It is there in full. All you have to do is go look for it, and you can see every Jack Sprat thing that's being done in the classroom, if you'd like to. In the case of, for instance, the Thrive, K-5 Thrive, you can go onto the district website, find Thrive, and you can see the lesson by week, what that lesson is, etc. So it's all there for parents to see. Professional development plan, we then looked at the professional development plan, and we believe that that is not only in keeping with what our district is going to need to fulfill our goals and the students' needs this year, but we were happy that Jen also shared with us the list of PD that will occur by state mandate, things like suicide prevention, updating on Paul's Law, which is epilepsy, what's the word that I want? Recognition, I think, understanding the symptoms of and being able to help. So there are a number of things that are state mandated, as well as those professional development moments that we create for ourselves. And then there was the remote plan, which again was reviewed and is recommended for adoption. So this evening, we recommend the district goals. We recommend all the curricular updates and revisions. We recommend the PD plan and the remote plan. They're all on the agenda. We will meet on October 7th at 3 p.m. Committee members. I tried to make it fast, but it was almost impossible. Did I miss anything in doing that? Okay. Questions? All right, that's it. We'll see you next month.
All right, well done. Not much going on there.
Nothing. We didn't do anything.
All right, Michael Cologne, operations.
Okay. The committee met on Wednesday, September 1st for a little under 2 hours, 110 minutes. In attendance from the administration, Lou Pepe, Emilio Torres, Angelo Palumbo, and Superintendent Huff. Board members, myself, Melanie Cohn, and Jan Cho. We started the meeting with a bit of a downer. We discussed a cost overrun for the current fiscal year related to transportation expenses. The cost for busing students is rising. There are several reasons for that. Driver shortages, reduced bus capacities, lower utilization from districts that share transportation, and just for folks to note, most of these costs relate to transportation of Summit students to schools outside of the district, just as an FYI. The full year impact of the budget variance is estimated to be about $100,000. This expense item is certainly noteworthy, but not cause for alarm given it's early in the fiscal year, and negative budget variances often reveal themselves sooner than positive variances during the year. So we're not overly stressed out at this point about where the budget stands. We then moved on to better news. We discussed, as a follow-on from our meeting in July, where we talked about qualifying for ESSER III funds in the amount of $2.26 million. That brings the aggregate total for COVID-19 grants received by the district to $4.427 million. So obviously good news. However, it's important to note that the funds must comply with certain restrictions regarding their use, and as such, the monies can't simply be netted against our budget to reduce the aggregate costs for the district. And so just be mindful of that. The committee reviewed a breakdown of the actual and pending utilization of these funds to ensure that the monies were used in alignment with the needs and goals of our district. Beyond PPE, plexiglass, and MERV 13 filters, the grants have funded the expansion of our summer learning initiatives, some of which we just spoke of, as well as our Chromebook program, moving the Chromebooks down to the younger grades, enhancing our mental health and SEL services for students and staff, as was noted in Goal 2 by Ms. McCann, and also has allowed us to implement the iReady tool, which Ms. Miller referenced, which is an educational assessment software, and implementing that across our district, which will yield benefits for the years to come. Additionally, the grants will subsidize the cost of replacing the HVAC system at the high school that's reached end of life. And important to note that this is the largest expenditure, the largest single expenditure of the grant monies. So in summary, the committee was pleased with how the grants have been applied across our school system. We then moved on to facilities, and there's a few things going on with respect to facilities. The first I'll touch on relates to what I just mentioned with respect to the high school and the HVAC system. We are replacing all of the existing mechanicals on the roof, which have reached end of life. However, we have also requested that our engineering and architectural firm, EI Associates, draft project documents for an expansion of the HVAC project, which would include air conditioning for the entire high school building, this entire building, with the exception of the main gym, which is not really a cost-effective thing to air condition. The completion of these documents and the subsequent contractor bidding process will allow the administration to define the scope and related costs of the project. So no decision has been made on whether the building will be fully air conditioned, because we need to see the costs first. Beyond the HVAC project, the committee was updated on the status of the mold remediation work at Lawson C. Johnson Summit Middle School. The administration confirmed to the committee that the problem was contained to an isolated portion of the auditorium. The cooler system and controls failure that led to the issue has been addressed, and the cleanup is proceeding on schedule, with the potential to be ahead of schedule, Lou?
We're hoping.
Okay. No commitments on that yet, but we are on schedule. Quick third note on facilities. If you noted when our meeting took place, it was in the afternoon before Hurricane Ida hit. And so the day after the meeting, the committee was updated on damages to the district, and it was noted, as was referenced by Superintendent Huff, that there was damage to Brayton. We received the board received an update of the facilities impact to the entire district on a building-by-building basis at around noon on Thursday. We were informed at that time that Brayton would likely be closed on Friday. And so that was the expectation. Brayton was not closed on Friday. And the reason why Brayton wasn't closed on Friday was because of the fabulous work that was done by our facilities and maintenance team. So I would also like to offer a thank you to Angelo Palumbo and Michael Martino, head of maintenance, who stepped up and had our kids in school on Friday at Brayton, where we were not expecting that on Thursday to be the case. So thank you to them and to their staffs. Emergency operation plans. Moving to a new subject. So we were informed that all of the district's emergency operating plans have been updated. Every building has an emergency operating plan within the district. And so they have all been updated in coordination with the fire department and the police department. And so we are putting that up for recommendation of approval in this meeting today. Last but not least, we were updated. The committee reviewed administration-approved upgrades to baseball and softball fields on school grounds. Funding for those upgrades will be provided by Summit Junior Baseball and Softball. So I am very happy to announce that, and the continued partnership that the district has with SJBS as well as our youth programs. And so that's obviously benefiting all of us in our community and our kids. Recommendations. As I just mentioned, district DOPs, emergency operating plans, as well as $105,000 for the design, the application, and project administration services from EI Associates for the expanded Summit High School HVAC project. So to assess how far we go with that project, we need that work to be done. Those are the two recommendations. Our next meeting will be on October 6th at 4:30 p.m. And it is possible that I certainly missed something in that lengthy update. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes, yes, yes.
As I sit here and freeze, how much of this building isn't,
Basically,
About 30%.
the educational wing, there's only one.
okay,
And that's the math wing, which also has the social studies upstairs
okay.
and world language. So that's the last wing that we would be able to connect. And then we're going to start structuring the bid for alternates, so we can look at that area, as well as the cafeteria.
Okay.
Because the cafeteria is highly utilized throughout the year, especially at the end of the year with a lot of functions that we have in that room at night.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a follow-up question on the topic of air conditioning, because it gets talked about every year. Was there any discussion, I understand you were referring to a wing and a cafeteria, which is an expansion. Any discussion on the middle school?
Yes, yes, there was.
Because that's always that
Yes.
always comes up.
We did discuss the highest and best use of the monies that are available, and whether or not it would be prudent to undertake a project in the middle school. And unfortunately, and Lou, you can elaborate on this, but I'll just give you the 10,000 foot. The cost to have a meaningful air conditioning impact in that building exceeds and potentially far exceeds the monies that we have available for this air conditioning project. And so that's the short answer.
But it's a very legitimate short answer.
Yeah, it
so-
was, it certainly, it came up. And so, Lou, if there's anything to add there, please do so.
Yeah, I think the only thing to consider too is on a priority basis, the air conditioning that we're starting with at the high school is existing units, rooftop units that are at end of life and will need to be replaced. So they're already in our arsenal of air conditioning. The middle school has no air conditioning other than the auditorium where the failure was, which produced the mold that we're working on right now. So as Mr. Colon said, in order to explore air conditioning in the middle school, you're probably talking about a project where you would have to go out to bond through the city, and that would be a further discussion that would have to start with the Board of School estimate. And we've already started having those discussions as well. We're cognizant of it. We've been looking at the middle school for the last at least 5 years I know of. And if the city is interested in looking at any other facility-related projects from our end, that's certainly at the top of our list.
Thank you.
All right, Mr.
Policy
Joe.
Committee. So the Policy Committee met on Wednesday, September 1st at 3:30 for approximately 45 minutes. In attendance from administration were Superintendent Scott Huff, Mr. Rob Gardella, and Kathleen Murphy, and then board members Michael Colon, Melanie Cohn, and myself. A number of policies discussed, I'll go over briefly. The state has issued a number of guidelines to the school districts that impact the policies. First is policy 1648, the Restart and Recovery Plan. That was the plan for the prior school year, and that has been replaced by the Road Forward Plan. Therefore, policy 1648, first reading, and is abolished, no longer needed. Policy 1648.02, remote learning options for families. The portions of the Executive Order 175 allowing remote learning have been rescinded. Families no longer have that option because of the COVID. Therefore, that policy also is abolished. The Restart and Recovery Plan, full-time remote instruction, that was the policy that allowed school districts that were unable to open in person to provide full-time remote instruction. That option is no longer available as part of the 2021 school year Road Forward Plan. Therefore, that policy allowing remote instruction, 1648.03, is also abolished and no longer needed. The policy 1648.11 is the policy called Road Forward, COVID-19, Health and Safety. That is the policy required by the Road Forward Plan issued by the state, instructing all the local school districts to set up the guidelines for operations for in-person learning. As mentioned earlier by Superintendent Scott Huff, Executive Order 253 requires all public school districts, all school districts, period, to test employees who are not fully vaccinated. That's policy 1648.13, school employee vaccination requirement. And that will be effective in October 18th. Policy and Regulation 5460.02, that's the Bridge Year Pilot Program. That impacts our opportunity for students that were in the graduating classes of 21 and 22 who were impacted by the shutdown of the schools in the spring of 2020 and were not able to participate in the extracurriculars or athletics. That gives them an opportunity to continue to do so in their local school district if they comply with the requirements in terms of the continuing their education. And then lastly is Regulation 8330, which is student records, just a revision of the previously approved policy with respect to the school district's responsibility to maintain student records and the procedures for the families and students to request copies as needed. So the recommendations to the committee, to the board, are the first reading of the policies or final reading and abolishment of the policies noted, and then second reading of the policies and regulations as noted in the agenda from the prior board meeting. And our next meeting will be Wednesday, October 6th at 3:30 p.m. Melanie, Michael, any questions? Did I miss anything?
You read that way better than I did when I was doing it, so well done. Okay, moving on, Ms. Primack, communications.
Hey, hope everyone can hear me. So yes, the Communications Committee met on September 1st. We met for about an hour and a quarter. It was an excellent, excellent discussion. Thank you for, I was there, Chris Bonner, Alita Justice, Lorraine Callender, Doug Ward. We were joined by Crystal Marr and Scott Huff. So first we reviewed projects from the summer. A lot of work went into making the current school year a great success and making sure that families in the community had access to the information to best support their students, so that those were really wonderful to review. Particular highlights, the Genesis rollover resulting is 97% completion rate prior to the start of school. That's really quite impressive to have that many families have gone and registered. Do, yes, as Superintendent Huff mentioned, update your information, make sure that we have all the latest, but that 97% completion rate should be celebrated. The website, Ms. Callender talked, it's been streamlined, it's been updated, it's much easier to use on a mobile device, which so many parents do, so thank you. That took a lot of effort. There were robust opening communications from the district, the building principals, And so those were, again, excellent, getting everyone ready to start that first day on the right foot. Very pleased with, the committee was very pleased with the outcomes, the positive impact of all the projects, and the streamlined and transparent information to the community. We are not operations, but I do want to take an opportunity to highlight the technology team's decision. They worked directly through a whole lot of coding issues on the website. They did not go to the vendor, which is the tradition, and I mean, not here, but what you typically do. And they actually not only saved incredible amounts of time, but they saved quite a bit of money, several $1,000 approximately. And our district tech team, that's what they do on many initiatives. They have truly, they figure it out themselves. They've saved this district tremendous amounts of money. So that's real. Those are real dollars that can be directed better into the classroom. So thank you. We moved on to hearing about some current projects, a staff feature project, which sounds really interesting, learning what it means to be a Summit teacher, a member of our staff. I think we all agreed it was a wonderful opportunity for our community to gain insight, broaden everyone's understanding about this incredibly multifaceted district. Many people in many roles contribute, and I think that will be wonderful to highlight and for all of us to learn more about what makes this exceptional. We also discussed looking forward to a parent newsletter focusing on some new, what's going on, some new highlights in the district, possibly a video component. Video is very accessible and well received. And spoke about sort of sharing. We hear from building principals about new staff members, but perhaps sharing a picture or two. We are still behind masks, and so we chatted about ways to kind of continue to make those connections with the community. We moved on to discuss focus areas. Focus areas, they were supposed to be updated during last year. I think we all know why that didn't happen. Not feasible to do it meaningfully. Focus areas really have served as sort of a North Star for the direction and purpose for the administration, the board. But most districts, as many of you I'm sure know, actually have strategic plans instead of focus areas. Both approaches are very collaborative. They involve tremendous community stakeholder input and feedback. They just sort of have different approaches and outcomes. So Superintendent Huff shared with us he's really looking into, he's evaluating, he's dialoguing, he's really exploring meaningfully throughout as he's more out in the district and in the buildings with the communities, which approach he thinks will really best impact student achievement, taking into account the mission of the district, the initiatives, the plans, and the vision. So we look forward to hearing from him on that. We chatted about, you heard about the curriculum update. It was a big curriculum update, as it often can be, and using a video perhaps to share because they've been so well received and it's such an accessible platform, so to share important information. This summer, the large focus was on social studies. Prior years, we've had very large focuses on science and math. So the administration is really going to determine whether this is the right platform to effectively share some of those curriculum updates, and we will hear the result of that. It was a good discussion. Now, Crystal Marr joined us. It was wonderful, and Ms. Marr shared with us a visual really laying out diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was an excellent visual. It's the principles and background on diversity, equity, inclusion. We were unanimous as a committee. The visual is excellent. It's clear, factual. It is supportive of the district's educational approach and commitment to meet each student where they are. And it is consistent with the focus areas and the district's mission. The visual will be available in the coming weeks on the website. It will be presented at a future time. It not only represents the district's commitment to meeting the needs of each child, which we have been talking about for, since before me. It also is about creating a culture and climate of belonging, which is so important. It is also explicit that critical race theory, which is not embedded within the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, it's clear that it is not included in the curriculum at Summit. So since this is a report out from the Communications Committee, not the Education Committee, Superintendent Huff, I would mind if I pause a moment for you to comment on critical race theory and it's the fact that it is not included in the curriculum.
Certainly. With the new revisions to the curriculum that you're being approved tonight, New Jersey updated their equity standards, and we're certainly aligned with that. And even going back to last month or July's meeting, there was some discussion about critical race theory. So just to rest assured that the critical race theory is not in our curriculum. It is not in the New Jersey standards, and we are not teaching critical race theory in our classrooms. We are following the standards and building curriculum around those standards, and we're excited about our equity and inclusivity goal to create that climate and culture for our students. And that's going to be ongoing work, as we continue to develop and proceed in that direction. So those are my comments for that. Thank you.
So thank you. And then finally, we end with some talk about community buzz. In this case, it was a couple days after the first day of school. Everyone sort of reported on wonderful energy, the excitement among students and staff. The returns felt very celebratory and very positive. And so thank you to everyone, all the PTOs, all the parents, all the administrators, the teachers. I mean, everyone, I think, really came together to have a wonderful, strong kickoff. So thank you. And there are no recommendations for the board, and we will next meet September 30th at 8:45 a.m.
No questions, comments?
Did I miss anything? Chris, Julia?
Very thorough, well done. Thank you. Okay, negotiations moved fast and furious over the last 72 hours on that, so essentially we have already approved it by virtue of approving item 11 tonight unanimously on the board, but I will highlight it here. On the recommendation of the negotiations committee tonight, we did in fact approve the finalized collective bargaining agreement between the Summit Supervisors Association and the board for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024, inclusive of salary distribution. So we are pleased to have that one behind us. We appreciate the executive committee of the Summit Supervisors, all the work that they put in their negotiation in good faith. And again, as always, thank you to Mr. Gardella for kind of shepherding these things along for us and keeping us on track. And the committee looks forward to our next task, which is to negotiate with our Summit principals. And we will start that in earnest here very shortly. So that is my report with regards to negotiations. Did anyone liaise in the past 2 months? No liaising? Next month. More liaising next month. Excellent. October is a big liaising month. All right. We are finished with committee reports. We are a little bit behind, but we will make up some time. I am confident of it in the remainder of the meeting, but now it is time for public comment. Mr. Pepe,
Sure.
with the ground rules.
Anyone wishing to speak shall first seek recognition from the presiding officer, the board president. Once that is granted, please move up to the microphone in the center of the room. In an audible tone, please state your name and address for the record. Unless additional time is granted, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. When addressing the group, please speak to the group as a body, not to individuals on the board. And that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, sir. Any public comment for items on the agenda? Nothing on the agenda. Seeing none, we're moving on to public comment for items not on the agenda. Yes, ma'am. Floor is yours.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Betty Livingston Adams, 12 Shadyside Avenue in Summit, representing the Eliminating the Achievement Gap Working Group. And I'm not sure if this was on the agenda or not, but I will speak at this point. Eliminating the Achievement Gap in 5 years is committed to creating a school families community partnership. Fundamental to that partnership is creating equitable learning environments where students see themselves as truly belonging and not having to contend with disparaging remarks, experiences, and expectations that send subtle signals that they don't belong in the classroom, can't master rigorous content, or achieve their full potential. As one leading educator recently observed, quote, With racism and COVID-19 at the center of our society's troubles, the time is now to reimagine education and create a more equitable classroom experience for our students, end quote. Along those lines, ETAG has identified 3 focus areas. 1, engaging students. 2, empowering parents. 3, effecting policies and practices, namely ensuring inclusive opportunities for historically marginalized students to gain access to rigorous enrichment and advanced courses, attracting and retaining a diversified faculty that fosters a sense of belonging and challenges students to thrive, and equally important, addressing the toxic atmosphere due to discrimination and systemic racism. ETAG wants to thank the school administration and the district anti-bullying coordinator, Mrs. Laura Kaplan, and her team for responding to community feedback and making more accessible information and tools to prevent, intervene, and protect students from harassment, intimidation, and bullying, including that most pernicious variant, racial bullying. We see the information on the website as a significant step in building the school families community partnership to which ETAG is committed. Thank all of you for taking that step.
Thank you. All right, any other comment for items not on the agenda?
Paolo Boyer, live at 143 Morris Ave. I emailed all of you guys about this a couple weeks ago, so I've come here to make sure you hear me, make sure that this is something that's going to be discussed. I want some clarity, some transparency, and some details on the mask exemption policy that you guys have put in place. I have empathy with you guys that this mask mandate comes from the governor. However, there is a clear set of exemptions within that mandate that unfortunately falls on your shoulders to determine who is eligible and who is not. One of them is for children with disabilities. Superintendent referenced a happy first week at school for all the children, their happy smiling faces, except for one kid, my son. He's 3 years old, has autism, can't wear a mask, he has sensory issues, he doesn't speak, therefore can't advocate for himself. We went through the procedures of providing a doctor's note, and we were blanketly told, no, he's not exempt from wearing a mask. I asked what was the review policy here. A mysterious district physician looked at the doctor's note. It was only a 2-line note. I provided the diagnosis of autism too. And they determined that my son was not eligible for this exemption. I asked multiple times to speak with the doctor, who has made a health choice for my son, who they've never met before, and was told, no, you can't speak to her. She'll speak to your doctor. That conversation should have happened when the decision was being made, not after the fact. Why does she need to speak to them now? Speak to the parents. I asked for written documentation as to how and why this decision was made. It's been refused. Still haven't been provided it. I don't understand how we got to this point of you guys essentially allowing a physician that's never seen or treated a child to make a health decision for them. Because that's essentially what's happened here. There was no collaboration with the pediatrician that sent the note, no questions asked, no request for more information. If my son's health and safety was a priority of this school, which it should be, and I've been told multiple times that it is, it shouldn't have just been a no. How can we collaborate? That's what the relationship between parents and schools is. Collaboration. No, you guys don't dictate, and we can't dictate. It's a collaboration. There was no collaboration here. No request to speak to the developmental pediatrician that diagnosed my son. No request to speak to the early intervention team that worked with him for nearly a year, and that could tell this district physician he can't wear a mask. And now my son's not being provided a free and appropriate education. No one can sit here and tell me it's appropriate for time to be spent, because I'll back up. The district physician did recommend some accommodations of providing frequent mask breaks. He can't wear a mask. So you're telling me that time is going to be taken away from his education and the main goal of teaching him how to speak, to try and force a mask on his face all day to build up his tolerance. That's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. So I want to know from the board what's going to be done about this. How can this be a policy? There is no review policy. I bet none of you could tell me what the actual policy details are for reviewing these mask mandates, or mask exemptions, excuse me. None of you can, I guarantee it, because there aren't any. You've just given the power to this district physician. Who is she? Why does she make the decisions? Help me understand, because I can't send my son to school. I don't feel he's going to be safe. He can't speak. He can't say, I need a break, I can't breathe. He can't say any of that. And he can't be provided an education because of it. So something needs to be done about this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments, items not on the agenda? Going once, going twice. Thank you, everyone who came up to the mic and spoke tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, moving on, remainder of the meeting. Item 9, we need to approve July's minutes. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, on the roll. Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Vice President Colon?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes.
President Bonner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. President, as we're moving on to school board operation, I have a couple of notes here, if I can go over it.
By all means.
Okay, item A, you'll see a revised on the the attachment has been revised and is after the addendum. We had to put another travel on there that's going to take place before our next board meeting, so we wanted to make sure we got that approved. Also, item D should read to reflect the donation from the Franklin PTO in the amount of $3,842.71. Put a line through the $5,000. That was an estimate. The actual cost came in less for the outdoor tables. Moving on, we have a ton of transportation as typical. If I can direct your attention to page 13, and that is the resolution II, which is acceptance of FEMA funds, Hurricane Ida. I just want to explain this resolution. We are not accepting actual funds at this point. What we're simply doing is by establishing this resolution, the county office had reached out to all districts to say, if you have any particular damage as a result of the hurricane, try and put a resolution together to estimate what your actual loss would be. And in the event that the emergency disaster declaration, category B, which has been approved for 21 counties, does make funding available, we will already be in the queue. So what we would do is make a preliminary damage assessment and send that to the state and request any public assistance. So you notice the amounts were blank. I'm going to fill them in for you and the public tonight. If you go down to the emergency response, certified property damage experts, the estimate is $350,000. This is preliminary, or this is primarily at Brayton. And this is an all-inclusive estimate that would be broken down as follows. Flooring, classroom content damage, casework materials, library contents, damaged books, miscellaneous, technology, and computer lab. Flooring, we're estimating at about $168,000. That will impact about 12 rooms. That would be the demolition, that would be the new flooring and installation and all of that. $170,000 approximately for classroom content damage, which would include casework. And as you know, furniture, everything else is a long lead item. So that's kind of putting the building out of commission for those rooms, thanks to the efforts of the custodial maintenance team, but also the building principal working with administration and rescheduling available space in the building. We're able to continue operating by moving students to safe areas within that building to continue delivery of instruction. Library contents damage is really not that high. We're talking about $5,000, our estimate. Technology, computer lab is very low estimate, about $2,000. Our estimate is $345,274 compared to the emergency response team's estimate of $350,000. So we're pretty much in line. So that's what we're going to approve tonight, and understand that the next portion is left blank on purpose, because once they do determine if there is any funding eligible, it's probably going to be in the area of 75%. In the meantime, if there is no funding available, this is all going through our insurance. So we will have a claim, and we will have to pay the deductibles with property damage, probably around $10,000. So does that explain this resolution for the governing body? Okay. And
Indeed it does.
I think that's all I have for that. Okay.
Okay, excellent. School board operation A through KK. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. I have Mr. Cho moving it, and I have, I'm sorry, who seconded it over here? Ms. Primack? Okay, on the resolution, Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Ms. Justice? Yes. Ms. Miller?
Yes.
President Bonner?
Yes.
Okay, motion's carried, thank you.
All right, we already did personnel. So, a lot of letters here, moving down. A lot of teachers coming in still, right? That's great.
I believe we're moving on to policies.
Great for us, bad for all the other districts. All right, policies. Item 12. We have items for first reading and lots of items for second reading. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, on the resolution, Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Vice President Cologne?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes.
And President Bonner.
Yes.
Motion's pass.
All right, moving on to finance. Apparently people need some money from us.
2 months worth.
Yeah, a couple months worth of money here. Let's see, items A through G. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, on the roll, Vice President Cologne?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Primack?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
President Bonner.
Yes.
Motion's carried. We can now pay the bills. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, no closed session tonight?
Yes, sir.
That is amazing. Time to adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Excellent. Well done, folks. Have a good night.